All right. Want to officially welcome you all this afternoon to our 2025 pre-camp leader meeting or webinar for Camp Gamble. Very happy to have you all here with us today. Trying to get my slideshow controls up and ready to go, but there we go. All right. First, we'll start out just a couple of quick introductions. Myself, I am Matt Kaufman. Serve as the camping director for the Greater St. Louis Area Council. Also in the summer, get the privilege of serving as the ranch director there at SBAR-F. So my main focus being Scouts BSA and venturing summer programs. With us today also, you may not see him, but he is here, our camp director for Camp Gamble, Bobby Kay. And then our program director, Brian Ranney, who you should be able to see as well. I'm going to leave that screen up just for a moment. So if you need the contact information there, it is there and available. Again, very happy to have you and your troop joining us at Camp Gamble this summer. Looking forward to answering any of your questions you might have today. Again, you can post any questions as we go throughout the meeting into the Q&A box there. We do ask maybe you wait just a little bit. Let us get rolling and see if we can answer some of them before you get a chance to ask those questions. But otherwise, feel free to put things in as we don't cover things that you want us to answer. Um, Again, if you either want to screenshot that or take a quick picture, then we'll move on to the next slide and get underway. We should wrap up in just about an hour total time today, covering all the details and answering questions. We'll have some general time for Q&A at the end. Next thing you're going to see is a QR code and also the link on the website where you can go to find the 2025 Camp Leader Guide. If you have not looked through that leader guide, please make sure that you do so before summer camp. That has a lot of the general details about camp, has the class catalog with the merit badge schedule, all of that in that leader guide. So important there that again, that QR code should take you right to the PDF version of it that you could download or peruse later as need be. And then on Friday, you should have also received a email. All of the registration contacts, I should say, would have received an email with the 2025 program guide that just has some more detailed information on the individual programs, extra programs, evening time things that will happen throughout your week of camp. That is also now available on the registration page for Camp Gamble under all of the attachments on the right-hand side. Or if you're on your phone, it's just keep scrolling down and you'll see attachments. So that program guide's out there and available just to cover those additional things as they may come up. We'll start just covering a few important dates that are upcoming in the very near future. One of them being just under a month away, and that is April 15th, which is our early bird or camper savings day. Um, Anyone that is any youth, I should say, that is paid in full on or before April 15th receive that $20 discount, giving them the lowest rate that they can get towards attending summer camp. If you have new scouts that are, and when we say new scouts, we classify that anyone that has joined February 1st or later. So anyone that crosses over into your troop after that February 1st deadline, or maybe they're brand new to scouting and join after that February 1st date, they're eligible for that lower rate no matter when they make their payment. You just have to make sure you register them as new scout. That is one of the registrant types. That way, the system knows to automatically apply that lower rate no matter when the deadline or when they make their payments. The second date on the screen you'll see is the 2025 campership application deadline of May 15th. We don't want to see any scout not attend camp due to a financial restriction. So along with the other fundraising opportunities that scouts have, we also have a campership fund that will fund up to half of a scout's fee for attending summer camp this summer. There are a couple of different ways to get to that campership application. If you are on our council website and then our camps page, so stlbsa.org/camps, near the bottom of the page, there's a blue resources menu, and that, along with a lot of other forms, including the refund request form, other forms that we'll talk about throughout the meeting today, The campership application is also there. It is also linked from the leader guide, so you can find the active link in the PDF version of the leader guide and find it. Or if you are registering someone for camp, when you're updating their information, there's a checkbox that you mark if they are applying for a campership. That will automatically let us know on the backside that they are applying for a campership and pop up a link for the form that they can then fill out. Those camperships, one trick, make sure that the name and address match exactly on the campership form and on the Scouts camp registration so that the system can talk and realize that they've got that application in there because it will put a temporary credit on until the uh, campership is paid or is approved in full, so that they can still select classes and all of that as needed. And then just keep an eye on that May 31st date. There is an additional $10 fee that goes up onto the registrations if they are not paid by June or by the end of May 31st. So on June 1st, that other fee kicks in just to help compensate. We take advantage of a lot of bulk ordering early in the season to make sure that we can get the best rate on things. We add in a lot of people there after that deadline, then we just want to make sure that we're covering our bases a little bit there. So just encouraging to get those early. Now, those all only really apply to the youth. There is no late fee for adults, no matter when they sign up and register. So you don't have to worry about that on your adult registrations. Next thing, you'll see in the leader guide, there's a whole page on our 2025 refund policy. It did get updated a little bit. The QR code on the screen that you'll see takes you to the refund request form that can get filled out for any refunds that you do need to request. Fill that out, and then we will have our staff taking care of processing those on the backside. One thing that is a little different for this year, last year between like April and the start of camp, we had a lot of people just drop off completely. They were blank spots on registrations, or they showed up to camp and said, "Oh yeah, we never planned to bring those 10 people." So after that early bird savings date of April 15th, we're going to go in if there are unassigned spots, so no name assigned to it or no payment made, we're going to remove those spots. You can still add them back in, no problem. We want as many scouts as possible at camp, but we start doing a lot of planning, and we want to make sure that we're not planning for additional people that just aren't actually going to be there. So instead of having them all drop off right when you arrive at camp and tell us, we're going to remove those spots if not already done so in April. For the refunds themselves, any request basically right now, we're more than 30 days out of camp. So we will more than likely, unless it's a very bizarre situation, we would approve those refund requests that are more than 30 days out. Any refund that we do approve is going to be minus a 10% processing fee to cover all the credit card processing fees and the like that come along with that. Once they are within that 30-day window, one of the extenuating circumstances that are listed in that refund policy, such as a death in the immediate family, illness, a mandatory school, um, whether it be summer school or other thing, those kind of extenuating circumstances must be met for any kind of refund requested after that 30-day mark. And then any refund request that is filed after May 31st is only eligible for the 75% of the total fee. If again, if it's that later in the season request. So if you have specific questions on that, you can feel free to reach out to me anytime. Read through that page in the leader guide, and we can help you out if you don't understand one of the aspects of that refund policy. One thing I do want to mention, because it's a nice change that we've got for 2025. Uh, Currently, the summer camp t-shirts are available for pre-order on gatewaytraders.org. We were able to get it worked out to where those can be picked up at camp this year. So if you wanted to order for your entire troop or just have families that want to place their order, they don't have to pay shipping on a pre-order. We'll have it available to pick up at the trading post when they arrive at camp. So know that they can do that on Gateway Traders through April 28th. for any of the camp t-shirts that are available this year. Only ones that are SBARF related will be able to be picked up at SBARF. It's just the way that they get split out and the way the system is set up. So if you wanted to order one from one of the other camps, you wouldn't be able to do that. But definitely for Camp Gamble and the Ranch Shirt or Swift or Famous Eagle, they could all be done and picked up at camp when you arrive. So we were excited to be able to offer that this year because a lot of people didn't want to do the pre-order because in the past it involved shipping. So there are several things that you as unit leaders are going to be working on between now and the beginning of summer camp. So we just wanted to take a moment and stress a few of the most important ones on our end as far as the steps to make sure that we are prepared for you to arrive at camp. The first one being one of the most important, making sure all of your numbers are as accurate as possible prior to you getting to camp. So you can add spots as needed. As you have someone else say, yes, I can now go, or you have a crossover happen, and then you have multiple scouts that need to sign up, add those spots as needed. Also, if you have spots that you know you're not going to use, you can request us to delete them. So if it's not paid for at all, and just an empty spot, if you scan that QR code or on that same resources menu page, you can see our deletion request form. The system doesn't let individual units do that deletion, but we can do it on our side. So we just ask for a little bit of basic information on that form, and then we'll take those spots off for you. Also, if you do have any that have paid, but now are not going to be able to attend, that's it. If you're not going to roll that into someone else's payment, that's when you would also fill out a refund request so that we can process that. Make sure that you have names added to all of the spots, both youth and adult, in your registration so that they are assigned to a particular person. Making sure also to register your adults, both those that are attending full time or part of the week. So that part-time adult registration is an option in there where they just pay for the days that they're going to be in attendance at camp. Make sure that, and many of you have already been doing this, but getting scouts signed up for their classes, that can all be done online. You can change that up until basically the day you come to camp, and then we can still make changes on schedules if needed at the camp office when you are there checking in, um, if it is needed to still juggle some of those classes around. And then the last thing to mention, at least 2 weeks prior to your arrival at camp, make sure any special dietary needs are submitted so that we can share that with our food service staff and they're well prepared to meet any of those needs that might be out there. I will share before we get the question, I'm sure at some point. We have a meeting actually tomorrow afternoon with our food service company where we're going to be reviewing their draft of the menus of what they're going to look like for this year. This is our chance to provide some feedback to them. So then shortly, hopefully shortly thereafter, we'll be able to share things like menus out publicly, but we haven't seen them just yet. We have that meeting tomorrow afternoon. But again, those special dietary needs, those are important so that we make sure we're meeting the needs of the campers and have everything on hand we need to be prepared for them. Next thing I'll mention, coming up before you arrive at camp, you will receive as I should say, the registration contact for your unit will receive a link to a simple Google form that we ask that they fill out. That is what we call a program form. It's essentially just confirming a lot of different information so that the camp staff and camp administration are well prepared for your arrival at camp. So especially for Gamble, this is going to be like estimating your number of patrols if we haven't already gotten that information, things like that, so that we are, again, just set up to be ready to have a great week with you at camp. So when you see those come out, if you as the registration contact are not the right person to fill that out, just forward that link on to whoever is. We know sometimes one person's handling registration and not the person that's actually going to camp. Perfectly fine. Just make sure that the right person gets that and it gets filled out promptly so that then the staff has it and is ready to go. The last thing on this section, then I'll talk a couple different forms, and then I'll turn it over to Brian and Bobby completely to talk about program things, is camp arrival and check-in. And then for either Bobby or Brian, I'm going to throw it to one of you to cover how this will work for the units coming to Camp Gamble.
Yeah, so when you guys arrive, you'll be at your site, your TC, which is basically our little helper camp staff member that's there for you to help you out during the week. We'll give you directions when you arrive. Um, do not take medical forms or that other form up to the office when you do send somebody to check in because they need the medical forms on site in order to do medical rechecks. But other than that, you'll kind of find it all out as you arrive at camp. It's a pretty well-oiled machine, so there's not a lot of info you need to know beforehand. So
All right. And get into the everyone's favorite topic, I'm sure, the annual health and medical record. So, just as a reminder for everyone that health forms are required for all attendees, and they have to be on the official annual health and medical record, which looks very much like the one there on the screen. We can't just take a school physical. It's one of the national standards that it needs to be on this form. A couple tips and reminders about that. One, if you have an adult that's just going to be there for less than 72 hours, they really only need parts A and B. Part C is required for everyone else, and that is the actual physical examination by a doctor, or there's a small list of other positions that are capable of completing that physical exam. So make sure that those are taken care of ahead of time. The physical form must be completed within the last 12 months. So, as an example, for anyone that's attending camp this summer, say you had a health form filled out and completed June 15th of last year. So, June 15th, 2024 is good through the end of June in 2025. So, it doesn't go day to day, but the end of the month a year after it was completed. So if it is, there are some cases where someone got it early in June, right before they came to camp last year. That would still be good if they're attending in June this year. Same thing if July. Um, and then very, very strongly encourage these to get collected well enough in advance that you have time to review them before you arrive there at camp. Just making sure that they're complete, they're signed everywhere that they need to be signed, medications are listed, and the like. It's very helpful if those are checked over ahead of time. So then during the check-in process, the medical rechecks that we need to do just to kind of verify how everyone's doing when they arrive is a little smoother. So again, those are linked on the resources menu, but also you can just Google Scout Health Form at any point and it'll pop up for the right one for you. Now, the other form that, and I'm just going to pop up all of the little notes here on the screen for you. This is a new form. This is a parental release form that is going to be required for all youth. So anyone that is under the age of 18 must have this form signed and turned in as part of the check-in process at camp. You can work on these early, get them done now. There's no like time frame that they have to be done ahead of time, so it doesn't have to be within like the month. As long as we have them and they're currently signed by the parents, we'll be good to go. So the reasoning for this form is some of the standards and some of the particular programs that we do. It actually states that the parents must be informed and approve of XYZ activity. So we have taken any of those activities that we might do in a summer camp setting, listed them on this form, and are just, it's going to be required for everyone. So it's covered so that parents understand the type of activities that are going to be going on and they approve of it. One great thing about it is it eliminates the need for an additional form for any specialty shooting sports programs and the like. It's all going to be taken care of on one form. So, encourage you to take time at one of your next meetings, get those knocked out for everyone that's attending camp so that you've got them, and then just keep them filed away and bring them to camp with you. The boxes on the top right of the form, you Uh, yes, you can go ahead and fill those in where it's asking unit number, week of camp, and campsite. At least the unit number on the top, make sure that is taken care of on each and every form so that we have it taken care of. It's also at the bottom, but that unit number at the very top, that's going to be very helpful for the office staff and anyone else sorting them at camp. Good question. All right. Last thing that I will talk about before turning over to Brian and Bobby completely for more details on program things. I'll cover that. Sorry, I was reading a question. Pre-camp swim checks. I'll get to that last question that popped in here in just a moment. We do strongly encourage you to knock out a swim check ahead of time if you can. It can save you a lot of time on your check-in day because you don't have to go down and do those swim tests upon arrival. You'll still have a stop at the aquatics area, get buddy tags completed, make sure that they understand where it is, how it all works. So these can be done on the Scouting Swim Classification Record form that is linked both on the council in the resources button or bar that we already talked about and on the registration page. We added it in there earlier last week. But you can also, again, much like any scouting form, do a scout swim classification form and it'll pop right up for you. That's a simple form to fill out. The person that conducts the test needs to be a qualified certified lifeguard or be currently trained in the scouting's aquatic supervision, swimming, and water rescue, I think is what it's called. That name of that course always throws me a little bit because it's very long. An adult that has that training, so it's the step above safe swim defense and safety afloat, they can also take care of swim checks for you, and that would be acceptable. The forms will get turned in as part of that check-in process. And just remember that if the aquatic staff sees someone that they just feel is struggling a little bit, maybe they're classified as a swimmer, but they're not showing that skill to the aquatic staff, they can then retest that scout or leader if need be, just to make sure that they're being safe. The aquatics area, just inherently one of the more risk-filled areas at the camp for everybody involved. So the question is the form required even if the scout isn't signed up for some of the activities listed? Yes. Have that done for every scout that's going to attend so that we are covered. They may decide one day they want to go do open shoot and they didn't have the form, so then they wouldn't be. So we're going to collect those for every scout that is attending this summer. All right. I am going to stop talking, which usually makes everyone very happy. Um, oh, that was a sly smile, Brian. I barely saw it. All right. And let Brian and or Bobby take over some of this. I'll click through. I just have like a generic slide, and they're gonna talk about whatever topics they would like to. And
Yeah. So,
yep, go ahead.
hi everybody. I'm Bobby. I believe most of you know me. I am the person with the beard that's not moving. Whenever Brian is talking, he'll be moving because he's actually got his camera on. But just to piggyback on some things Matt was talking about for the aquatics pre-camp swim test, if you do that, please feel free to scan those or take photos of them and email them to me, because then we can make the buddy tags ahead of time, which will speed up your check-in as well. And then we can also check the form to make sure that a lifeguard actually did sign it. Last year, there was a couple times where a unit leader or a parent had just basically signed off that their kid can swim, which is not how that works. Um, so just a note on that. You're welcome to send those to us. And then a couple other check-in things that I thought about after Matt threw that over to me. We are going to, after we send the camp program form to you, obviously we ask you a lot of questions on that about patrol numbers and things like that. We do reconfirm that information in the camp office when you do check in. So please just keep that in mind that it's not a case of we lost your program form. It's to make sure that there's no variances within that, because that is how we sometimes catch if a committee chair thought something was one thing and then the scoutmaster who's actually at camp is thinking another. Um, for special dietary, which Matt had mentioned, this is last year we didn't have a whole lot of problems with this. The prior year we had quite a few problems with it, so I'm just mentioning this to avoid having what happened 2 years ago happen. Please bring a typed list of the allergies to camp that you have for special dietary needs. What I would recommend doing is have a maybe make an Excel sheet of any scouts in your unit that you know have actual special dietary needs. Confirm with the parents to make sure that they submitted the form at least 2 weeks before camp, and then bring that to the office so that we have a actual legible list on hand, so that we can cross-check what the food company is doing. Because it's kind of hard to read some people's handwriting. And then we'll also ask on there if they have an EpiPen so that we know if it's an actual allergy, because then we take some additional precautions. For special dietary, please note that all the foods prepared in the same area at Famous Eagle. So if you are highly allergic to something, you are going to have to bring your own food. Let's say that you have a dairy allergy that's going to give you anaphylaxis. That is not something we can accommodate. If you've got, severe alpha gall, that's not something we can accommodate. Things like that. Just make sure that the parents are aware, and that you're aware of that. We do have additional fridge space at Camp Gamble where we can store food. If you do have a scout who's in that situation, we usually have at least one a week, um, where we can keep their food separate. Um, and then there will be, for all the merit badges and stuff we're about to talk about, kind of moving away from the follow-up stuff to what Matt was saying and moving into the program stuff. I am going to be working on a summary sheet for all the merit badges we've got with a more easy to read kind of matrix, that's more of a one-sheeter, along with some questions we've had in the past about different merit badges. We did this last year and it was well received. Whenever I do have that available, we'll add a link to the leader's guide, and then we'll also post it into the attachment section of Blackpug. It's something that parents might find a little easier to look at than, 12 pages of trying to figure out which merit badges fit in with each other. Um, so that said, I will turn it over to Brian to talk a little bit about anything he wants to talk about, and then I'll take it once he's done talking. So,
Thanks, Bobby. Well, it says merit badges on the screen, so I thought maybe I'd mention that last year we had a new program where we added an opportunity to take merit badges on Fridays, which is usually restricted to sort of a merit badge makeup day for scouts who maybe have missed a class or they just have some extra work they'd like to turn in or check in with a counselor. In addition to that opportunity to do makeups, we also have badges that are only offered on Fridays. You'll notice many of them are Eagle required badges, where we're offering a workshop for scouts to get the idea of what sort of work they need to do when they are away from camp in order to get a completion. That's also an opportunity for folks who have done some of those badges and gotten that work done throughout the year to come and turn it in and have a counselor conveniently there to sign them off. In addition to those badges, we also have some fun, quick badges, including fingerprinting, that will be available on Friday so that there are some additional program options. And of course, merit badges are not all that we offer. Our first priority for scouts, in addition to that opportunity for advancement, is that they are safe and having fun. So we have also made some adjustments to look at our open program opportunities. We've rescheduled the first year scout program, which we call Wayfinder, so that all those classes are in the morning. Ooh, I'm getting ahead. Um, and then we'll also be, since those are all in the morning, we have found staff opportunities to bring our Apex Older Scout program a little bit more in-house. And I'm again jumping ahead, but this is just kind of the overview of things that have changed. We'll get into more of the details on these. Apex will be offered more in camp with some Older Scout activities. as well as our adult leader training opportunities will also be offered in Camp Gamble. We're trying to minimize having you all run all over the entire property for every little extra program.
Yeah. So, as Brian said, we are bringing the Older Scout Apex program back in-house for the most part. That had been a change we had made due to staffing shortages 2 years ago, with kind of outsourcing it to Swift. Um, and now we've got enough staff to actually run this program again. So it's something we're adding back in. Um, but kind of piggybacking on what Brian just said with the merit badges, I do want to emphasize that our goal is with these changes is not to turn into a merit badge mill or anything like that. It's more to if a scout does want to do more stuff, they can. Just because the merit badges are there does not mean they have to sign up for them if they have free time. Mine and I think Brian's opinion as well is that free time at camp is a good thing, because that scout could go fishing or they could go, play games with friends or something. So just because they have a free slot, they don't necessarily have to put something in there. If the scout is a overachiever on the merit badge front, they now have some opportunities to add some additional things. Um, Hitting on some of the changes to merit badges, just in case you haven't looked at them in the leader's guide yet or at the merit badge summary stuff. We have added 4 new STEM badges, and we are expanding the STEM area. Historically, we've had 2 staffers in that area. This year, I've hired 4 people for that area. We've added class sessions to robotics. We've added additional chess sessions, and we've added an additional metalworking session, which should get a lot more throughput in that area, because that has been an area that has filled up quickly on classes. We've also added the chemistry and composite merit badges, the electricity and electronics merit badges, and the photography and movie making badges, which have kind of been in nature the past 2 years. We moved those back to the STEM area for this year. Um, on that topic, we have also added combo merit badges this year, of which those ones I just mentioned are. The reasoning for that is that some of those merit badges did not actually take the whole week. And when Brian and I were sitting in various classes last year, we noticed there was a lot of dead time and filler time. So this is something some other camps have done that's worked well when I've been talking to camp directors from other camps, with these combo badges. So we're going to try it out this year, um, and see how it goes. But we're excited about this. Um, scouts get a little bit more done at camp if they so choose to do. Um, some other new badges that we've added or that we've turned into combo sessions are art and animation, are both a combo session in nature. Weather and geology are a combo session in nature. Plant science and forestry are a combo session in nature. Um, and then we are also adding the sustainability merit badge back to nature. Um, with these combo sessions, a lot of them, we've also got more than one session. And just because of the way that staffing works, it also allows us to just offer more opportunities if a scout wanted to take one of those merit badges. Um, Other new badges that we've added are geocaching is back in Scoutcraft. Um, Last year we did orienteering and it was frankly a little boring, so we've added geocaching back in instead of orienteering. Um, Basketry will be the same thing we did last year, where scouts basically come pick up a kit from Scoutcraft. If they need additional help, there's always a Scoutcraft counselor who's got a free period at any time of the day, for the most part. So if a scout does need additional help with their baskets, counselors are available to help them. But we do not have set times for the basketry merit badge. We found that a lot of scouts, tend to enjoy working on that on their own time a little bit more. It's a good thing for them to kind of relax and do at camp, at their campsites, maybe with some other scouts from their units. Um, we've added in search and rescue and the exploration merit badges back in Scoutcraft. Exploration is actually probably one of my favorite merit badges at camp. If your scouts have not done that before, I know it looks a little boring on the merit badge book, but it's actually a lot of fun at camp. For the search and rescue merit badge, we have a staffer named Max Kramer who's got quite a few certifications in that. He's excited to do this, and he had kind of asked for us to do this merit badge. So this should be a unique opportunity that scouts can take. Um, I believe that's it for the new things that are being added. For the Friday merit badges, we've added in fingerprinting, pulp and paper. Those are the two. Oh, and citizenship in the world, since that was the most requested merit badge last year on camp surveys, was citizenship in the world. Um, so, I believe that's it for new merit badges. A couple of other changes to the schedule that I want to highlight are that motorboating, rifle shooting, and archery now also have afternoon availability. So if you've been coming to camp for a long time, historically, rifle shooting and archery in the afternoons at Camp Gamble, that was just free shoot time. Um, I would say about 90% of the time when I was up there the past 2 summers in the range and target area, there was nobody actually up there. But the rifle shooting and archery classes filled up very quickly in the morning. So this seemed like an opportunity to give scouts more time to actually do these badges when they're able to and not get locked out of the class if they wanted to take it. We will still have free shoot in the afternoon for an hour and a half from, I believe, 3:30 to 5. And then we'll also have free shoot on Friday if your unit wants to do those. Um, and one of the reasons we picked that time for the afternoon instead of the 2 to 3:30 range or something like that is because most units go to Hucks Cove right after lunch. So we were trying to kind of work around that. Um, Freeboating, water skiing, and the inflatable anvil are also now going to be available from 2 to 3. Historically, that was kind of a time reserved for maintenance in the aquatics area. And a lot of you who have been coming to camp for a long time probably remember the Illuma docks before we got the big white floating docks out there. That maintenance period was needed to basically tighten every bolt almost every day on there, which we have not done that for about a decade now. So it seemed kind of silly to have that maintenance hour in there still. So we've now added freeboating, water skiing, and the inflatable anvil to that time. So if scouts aren't doing something during that time, that's something where they can go down and do. Um, some black pug changes that you'll notice as you start to assist your scouts with signing up for things. Um, and a lot of these are based on surveys that we took at the end of the summer on what points of friction there were, and we're trying to resolve some of that. Because a lot of these were points that parents were making if they hadn't been to camp before that they might not have known about. In Black Pug now, you can schedule or your scouts can sign up for mile swim in Black Pug. That way it's on their schedule when you print it out. Um, and then they can also sign up for merit badge makeup. I would highly recommend telling your scouts, especially if your unit's planning on going to Hucks Cove at some point during the week, encourage your scouts or their parents to sign up for at least one merit badge makeup session at some point on Friday at a time that works for them. That way they know that this is when this occurs, and it's on their schedule. We've had some issues that I've noticed over the past 2 years of scouts maybe not knowing that merit badge makeup was a thing, and now maybe if it's on their schedule, they'll go to it if they need to. And then I believe the other thing which Brian had kind of touched on a little bit is IOLS for adult leaders. We are now doing that at Camp Gamble from 10 to 11 a.m., which should be enough time after the leaders meeting in the morning and enough time before lunch, so that your leaders aren't getting pulled everywhere in every direction during the morning. And we're going to revamp it a little bit from what's been done in the past, and it should be a lot more of a worthwhile experience for your leaders who are taking that. Yeah, I'm going to turn it back over to Brian to talk about afternoon programs, and some other stuff that he might want to talk about.
Um, every every evening during the week, we'll have special evening programs available. And that will be Wednesday is our flagship evening program, which will be our water carnival, where your scouts will have the opportunities to sign up for various fun competition activities in the aquatics area. We'll be sure to let you know what those are going to be so that your SPL can gather up the troop and make a plan on who is going to compete in each of those areas. And then yeah, we'll have a real fun time down there, playing music and cheering on our scouts as they compete. Additionally, for that, there will be some sort of fun theme, which our aquatic staff is currently working on, and we will be sure to announce that to you in plenty of time for your scouts to prepare for that theme. Um, the rest of the program areas, which includes range and target activities, we'll have evening programs. Well, they'll be doing some axe throwing and knife throwing. The nature area will have open fishing available in the evenings where you can come and borrow a fishing pole and then go fishing. There will also be an organized activity, likely where nature and scoutcraft groups come together for a fish fry and filleting workshop for scouts taking fishing merit badge. During that, the Scoutcraft team will have various skill competitions available for fun Scoutcraft skill activities. The folks over in STEM have a lot of fun toys to play with. We're gonna have all the games down there from Chess Merit Badge and the other game related badges, as well as playing with other technology such as 3D printers, possibly the drones. Also, an exciting new addition is we've had radio systems installed in each of the camps, and that is a new fun thing for us to teach the scouts about using radios. You might get a sneak peek of that at Adventure Summit if you poke around the camps as well. Um, so every night there will be one of those fun programs to happen. It'll be after dinner, and that'll go from probably 7:15 to 8:30. Usually just like a sort of more relaxed, open opportunity for your scouts to go and get to hang out in the areas, do some fun scout skill activities, maybe get to know their favorite counselor a little bit better. If your troop also has the opportunity to sign up for out and abouts, if you would like to go out on a canoeing expedition together. You can also plan to spend the night out if you would like to do that. You can take a canoe out to one of our special campsites across the lake and have a rugged camping experience. And um, that's most of the evening programs, I believe.
Great. And then I'm going to touch on a through the week program that Brian and I are currently working on finalizing that we're excited to add to camp this year. This should be a lot of fun for scouts. It may sound a little goofy, but I think the scouts are going to enjoy it. It's essentially a scavenger hunt throughout the week. We're calling it, and this name is still in the works. It might be a little bit of a mouthful right now, but the Great Golden Gamble Goose Game. But basically, they're going to get clues throughout the week from various counselors. There's going to be great golden goose eggs hidden around camp that they can find in their free time. And then typically one after lunch, maybe two after dinner or something like that, except for Thursday, obviously. Um, and then they can take those golden goose eggs to the trading post, and there will be a leaderboard and stuff like that. But there's going to be some skill aspects to it too in the evening programs. It's kind of going to get integrated into everything. It should be a nice, friendly competition that occurs throughout the week for the scouts that gives them something non-destructive to do if they end up getting too much time on their hands. So, um, that said, moving away from the program stuff, um, something I'm going to drop into the chat right now is that it? Hold on. I believe that's it. is the, oh goodness, that's a long URL, is the campsite alignment matrix. Um, Please check this alignment matrix. This is also a link that's available in the attachment section on Blackpug. If you search for Gamble 2025, it's in the bottom right of the web page. This will show you, as of right now, who else is on your campsite. It is a good idea to check this before camp. Maybe you can reach out to the leaders at the other unit and just kind of get to know them a bit. Um, Please keep in mind when you do come to camp that if there is another unit on your campsite, that you don't own the whole campsite, so you can't just send your scouts everywhere. We're going to be dividing it up in an agreeable way for everybody. So I'm just mentioning that just because sometimes people think that they're on the campsite by themselves, but they're really not. So please check that sheet. Obviously, it does move around. As you can see on that sheet, there is anywhere where there's green space, that's an open campsite for that week. So if you are in a week like week one where it's really busy, maybe you prefer a week where there's not as many other people in camp. If your schedule so allows, you're more than welcome to switch to a different week. That's something that you would talk to Matt about or to the camping department about doing. Um, but yeah, on that note, if you do have any registration questions or payment questions or anything like that, please reach out to Matt or the camping department. If you reach out to me, I'm just going to forward it to Matt or the camping department. Because if I start messing with the stuff, I will probably delete your entire registration, which is not good for anybody. Um, if you have questions about the program or things that are actually happening at camp, or let's say you've got some special situation that you think we should be aware of or that you have a question about, please feel free to reach out to me or to Brian about that. Um, if you have a question about a merit badge, that's something to reach out to us about and not necessarily the camping department, because they've got a lot of different camps and they could give you the wrong answer possibly inadvertently. Um, yes, I believe that's it I was wanting to talk about. Um, Brian, it sounds like you probably don't have anything else, so I think we'll turn it back over to Matt.
Well, I
Oh,
actually do see a
I see some
program-related question.
questions.
So
Yeah,
I'll address
I
that
see it.
first question.
Yeah, go for it.
And that's a great question when you're thinking about how should you schedule your scouts' time throughout the week at camp. Generally speaking, the best time to give them a little bit of free time is in the afternoon, from 3 to 5. There is open program available in the aquatics area for free swim and free boating. There's also from 3:30 to 5 up in the range and target shooting area. There's free shooting time available. It's also just nice to leave a session open for scouts just to work on other merit badges. If they're in a craft badge and they want to work on their wood carving project or their basketry, that's what I would recommend. My strategy tends to be to keep the scouts scheduled all morning in merit badge classes. And then if you're thinking about you have a scout that would benefit from some free time, do that sometime in the afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. And then there was a question about how is food at camp being handled. Um, Kind of give a general overview of how food at Camp Gamble works. And if I don't, then Todd, you can ask a question again, just in case I don't cover what you're specifically wondering about. So food at camp, on your program form and at check-in, we're going to get a count of how many people you have and how many patrols you have. Um, we are then going to get food from the food service company that is in varying states of prep level. So for instance, we might get shelled eggs or raw eggs. We might get pancake batter. We might get pre-cooked chicken. Chicken we generally will pre-cook for you guys. But we get food in different states. We have it at the commissary, and then we divvy it out at meal times. So prior to a meal time, you'll come up to the commissary to collect your food in pack baskets, which we will provide for you. Take it back to your camp site, and your patrols will cook it up, and we'll have instructions with that. Um, we have corrected the instructions from years past for a number of things, and we're working with the food company on a lot of those things as well, to really make sure that Gamble isn't just getting dining hall specific items and that it's more of a, the scouts can actually cook some things and learn the patrol method as well, um, while cooking food safely. I'm not sure if that fully answered your question. Let me know if it didn't. But that's basically how food is handled at Camp Gamble. Your scouts are the ones cooking the food. You are also the one cooking the food. We do have charcoal available this year. We're also planning on getting actual charcoal localizers if you are somebody that uses charcoal, so that we're not just using the number 10 cans. We're planning on getting some nicer localizers to assist with the charcoal that does get a little humid over the course of the summer, with making lighting easier for that. You are more than well. Quite a few units bring their own stoves if they prefer to not use charcoal. It's really up to you on how you want to cook it from a heating and fire perspective. Um, I've seen there's some units that have the older Scout Patrol use, a gas stove, and then the newer Scouts use charcoal, which that has worked to varying degrees. Usually it's best to also have the younger Scouts have somebody help them with that. The adult patrols almost always use gas for their heating and cooking, unless they are from river trails and very hardcore about it. So, but yeah, did that. I guess you can't respond to me on if that answered your question, but if it didn't, feel free to drop something in the question and answer here.
Yeah, I'll add to that, Bobby. Also, just the one thing, just so if there is anyone wondering, Sunday night dinner is provided for you when you arrive. It'll be a camp-wide dinner that is served out of the commissary, but it is just kind of it's usually, I can't say for sure what it's going to be, but it's been spaghetti for quite some time, where everyone will come up, eat there, so that you're not cooking that first meal, and then the staff will actually be on hand at the campsite, some staff at each of the troops to be able to help on that Monday morning as well, unless that changed and I didn't know it. So, good. All
So,
right.
yeah, so Monday morning, and this is a question that'll be on the program form on how many staff that you need. If you've never been to Camp Gamble before or you've never done patrol cooking before, we will provide you with somebody for every single patrol, to help them out. Um, and then on Monday morning, if you need additional help for other meals, we're also happy to help you out with that. Most scouts and patrols are able to kind of get it after the first meal, though. Um, and then the Thursday is family night. For family night, you're welcome to, some units have their parents pick up food from Farmington on their way down or from Fredericktown if they're coming up, and bring it for the unit. So we'll ask you if you want Thursday night dinner or not. Um, and that's what that question is for. If you have families maybe doing a potluck type thing, then you would not use camp food for the Thursday night dinner. However, if you don't have families bringing food up and you still want the scouts to cook their own food, then you would indicate that you do want Thursday night dinner on the program form, and we will provide you with that. We do try to make it. We do try to make it so that Thursday night dinner is quick to cook. I believe last year, I kind of forget what we did last year at this point, but I know it was something that worked well for Thursday. I imagine we're probably going to do something similar again. For Friday evening and Friday night dinner, we do try. I have not seen a menu yet, to be completely honest with you, but I am going to emphasize with the food company and with Matt that Friday night dinner should be something where you guys can pack all of your utensils away after lunch on Friday. Um, or sorry, I'm sorry, I'm getting all screwed up here. Saturday morning breakfast is going to be a utensil-less breakfast. That way, after Friday night dinner, you can put all of your stuff away and not have to be cleaning stuff on Saturday morning. Um, Apologize. I've been helping with storm cleanup in Arnold, and I'm just kind of tired. So, um, but so Saturday morning, you will not have to be cleaning dishes unless you just don't clean them Friday night. So, that's just a note for the how the meals are going to work. So, um,
Sure.
yeah.
I'm going to jump in, cover one other quick thing just to make sure that you all have seen this in the leader guide, but hopefully understand it well. Some of the classes, we've talked about a couple things like basketry or wood carving, leatherwork, um, those kind of things that might have like a kit or other materials that the scouts need. There's a class fee that they'll take care of in Black Pug, and that is covering that cost of the kit. So instead of the scout having to go to the trading post to make a purchase or find this ahead of time at camp, they will be able to get that at camp on Monday at their first merit badge session that needs that. And then, like Bobby or Brian one mentioned of how basketry will work, it's basically they will pick up that kit as they are ready for it throughout the week and work on those three projects for basketry that they need to complete. All right. I give people time to put anything into the Q&A that they may still have unanswered questions. Bobby, you guys are sitting really well staff-wise at the moment. Do you have any vacancies you're still looking for?
Yeah, so let me pull up my current sheet. Hold on. I know we've got two, I
I was
think.
thinking one or two.
Yeah, so Camp Gamble currently has basically two aquatics spots open. One's technically in boating. For the aquatic spots, if you've got any scouts interested in staffing, and they can swim, that is very helpful for aquatics. Um, they have to be 16 minimum for the aquatics area. And that's just a federal law with working at a natural body of water. You have to be a minimum of 16. If they are 15 and they're wanting to work aquatics, then they would have to work somewhere like Camp May at Beaumont, since they have a pool. I'm not sure if Camp May has openings, but just a side note there, if you do happen to have a 15-year-old that wants to work in aquatics, they would have to work at Camp May. But if they're 16 and looking to work, we could certainly use them. Um, and then we are possibly going to need a over 18-year-old area director. um, I don't want to share this area director's personal information, but he is possibly not going to be able to work this summer because he has some exciting life stuff happening. That's actually exciting. That's not like a euphemism for something else. But he's gotten a really cool opportunity and he's thinking about doing it. And I've actually encouraged him to do it. So we will likely need an area director. So if you have a over 18-year-old that may be able to be an area director for an area camp, that would be something we're likely going to need. If you have an over 18-year-old that's not able to be a director, you can still send them your way and we can possibly slide someone around. So on that note, though, with staffing, just to give you an idea of who all is coming back this summer, obviously me and Brian are back this summer. Ryan Davis is going to be the business manager who you all will see at check-in and who will be our person to talk about at leaders meetings sometimes. As of right now, Joe Lambert is the commissioner for camp. Joe has been around for, I believe, 10 summers now, so a lot of you probably know him. Liam Hayes, who was the commissary aide last summer, is going to be the commissary manager this summer. And I believe if you're there during either week one or two, Ben Ludloff will also be down for a week to just assist him with that initial stuff as well. Um, he's been around for a long time as well. Lorenzo Gutting, who's the current Shawnee Lodge chief, is our nature director. And then Clay Edelson is going to be our Wayfinder and Apex director. Declan Hennessy is going to be our Range and Target Activities Director, which is the area formerly known as Shooting Sports. Just in case you keep hearing us talk about range and target activities, that's what that is, since we are still in the decade of changing names of everything. Will Blumenkemper is the Aquatics Director. You probably remember Will from last year. He was the ski boat driver. So he has offered to come back as the aquatics director. Ken Heath, who was our aquatics director last summer, is going to be the Hucks Cove director this summer, so you'll still see him around camp. But that is basically our administrative staff as it currently stands. So, yeah. On that note, though, if you do have other 18-year-olds, Famous Eagle still needs quite a few 18-year-olds, and they also need a dining hall steward, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
they've
so
got a couple things in the works there, but they may not pan out there. So we're always looking. I am going to mention one other position that we need at Camp Llewellyn. We are still looking for a 21-year-old at Camp Llewellyn for this summer to run the climbing and apex program at the tower there and at Camp Llewellyn. So otherwise, I think Camp May still has some openings, but they had a director shuffle, so they were trying to get that person all caught up to speed. If anyone does want to still apply, they're encouraged to do so. They can do that on the website you can see on the screen at stlbsa.org/camps. Then you'll see a work at our camps section. Once they apply, a camp director will reach out to them to set up a time to talk. With
yeah, I
that,
will mention,
yep, go ahead.
for those of you that have been to Camp Gamble for a long time, you probably remember, the staffing a couple years back was struggling a bit, especially from COVID and all that stuff. This time, 2 years ago, I think we had 14 people hired total, and we had like 26 vacancies. So we are in a very good spot this summer. We seem to have corrected the staffing pipeline that we've been having issues with. So I do want to thank all of you for your help with that because I know a number of you have sent staff members our way. So just wanted to give you all a little shout out if you have assisted with getting this fixed so that future summer sessions have a nice pipeline of scouts who can be area directors and run camp and things of that nature. So,
Yep. Well, I do not see any other questions that have popped in, and that's perfectly fine. Just remember, if you have other questions that you think of after this, feel free to reach out to myself, to Bobby, to Brian. If you can't remember any of that on who is who, you can also go to our general council help desk at help@stlbsa.org, that email address. And any of the summer camp things that the support staff don't know or can't handle, they forward on to me so that we make sure that we get those answered as quickly as we can. So definitely want to take a moment just to say thank you. Thank you for choosing Camp Gamble this summer. And for being a part of this webinar today to take the time to learn a little bit more to be better prepared for this summer camp experience for all of your scouts. We really appreciate it. Again, look for the recording to be posted online at some point tomorrow. We will get it online. We'll email out just like we did the notice for the meeting so that you have the link that you can share out to anyone that you might want to share that with. I want to also just take a moment to thank Bobby and Brian both for all of their dedication to Camp Gamble and all that they've been doing to help prepare.
Cynthia, I'll make sure Matt sees that.
Yeah, I see it, and it's either Cynthia, you could either go in and update their record. It's tied on their individual account. We can do it, or inside the registration, if you hit update info and then select the unit button next to those individuals, you can swap it over to the correct troop as well. I remember there being that, but we'll make a note of it too, and try to get that taken care of. All right, seeing no other questions, again, thank you for your time this afternoon. We'll let you get on with your Sundays and hope you have a great rest of the day.